everyone, to On the Line. It is November 8th, Wednesday, National Signing Day.
Yay! Love the day.
Congrats, everybody who's getting ready to sign the paper and pen and get ready for their next future at an NCAA program. We're going to be covering all of that today because it is National Signing Day. It's the first day for track and field athletes to go on with their respective programs over the National Letter of Intent period. So it's going to be kind of a crazy and wild day. We're going to bring you full coverage of that. We'll talk about some things. We'll interview some big-time athletes. And I think we need to start with that first, but any brief thoughts from you first on this day?
I'm just so pumped. I really love National Signing Day just to see where all the top recruits are going, where, like you said, they're signing. This is it. Like, you're signing the next couple years.
The future.
Your future is literally on this piece of paper. Yeah. And it's super exciting to just see all the fun videos, too, of these people just making their commitments. So, of course, I'm repping my Aggies here, so absolutely. I'm proud. Absolutely. I'm excited.
Couldn't be more excited, and we couldn't be happier to bring on the number one recruit on the boys' side, class of 2024. His name is Christian Miller. He's from Creekside High School in Florida. And Christian exploded at the end of last season, running an incredible 100-meter performance of 10.06, top 5 all-time at the distance in high school. Also went 20.45 when aided in the 200. Claimed 2 U.S. U20 titles. He claimed a national title at New Balance. This man is on fire.
Yes.
And Christian, man, we gotta welcome you. How you doing?
Doing good.
So let's start with, first off, like where you were at. You were gonna announce later in the day at 6 p.m. Eastern time your official pick, but you have, I think, three schools on the docket. Can you talk to us a little bit about who were your final schools and what's that all about?
So my final schools and my decision are Florida, FSU, LSU, and Georgia. And at first it was a top 6, and Tennessee and South Carolina were taken out of the top 6, and so I'm left with those 4.
I see. What is some of the things that you've been looking for in a school? Like, what are those things that when you went on your official visits that you were looking for within the program?
I was really just looking for, when I got to the campus, if I really felt at home when I got there. And also I looked at the coaches and looked at the teammates to see if this was really like a team I could go and spend the next 4 years with, and it was a coach that I could trust with my ability to get me to that next level and just other aspects like that.
National Signing Day is a really fun time for athletes like you who have this opportunity to tell the world where they're going. And it's a little fun because there's some sort of aspects of it that can be kind of bait and switchy. You're wearing a Florida t-shirt.
I was just about to ask.
Florida might not be your pick, right? Like, do you have anything planned for 6 p.m. today that's going to maybe throw some people off?
Yes, I definitely have something planned.
And also, before we went on the air, you said that you wore a different shirt every day. What was just kind of that, what was the thought process behind that too? Just keeping people guessing and on their toes throughout the week?
Well, so for this week, I hear a lot of people say, like, I'm going to this school or that school. So I just decided on Monday, I was like, well, I'm just going to go ahead and just recycle all of my visits shirts that I got and kind of just throw some people off and get in some people's heads, basically.
Based off what you're hearing, where are people guessing that you're going? Like, what is that top school that people are assuming you're going there?
I'd say most people that are like in my general area, they mostly guess Florida because of their back-to-back national titles. A lot of people, since I canceled my last 2 visits after I went on LSU, a lot of people are thinking it's that as well. So
Gotcha.
Christian, I gotta ask. You won a state title in 2022 in the 200. You're very good at that point as a sophomore. So it's not like you came out of nowhere this past year, but you certainly did elevate yourself in those May and June months. Did it become a little bit more hectic for you as far as like people who started to call you, hit you up? Like, what was the recruiting process like after you sort of had your big breakthrough?
right. It definitely got a lot more hectic than it was before, especially after, I'm pretty sure, because I see her wearing her Aggie shirt. Actually, after I ran up Florida relays, they had reached out to me right after I ran since I did race one of the commits. So it was just like certain races, I would have certain college coaches see it and then reach out to me. So it definitely got pretty hectic
Hmm.
towards for the middle and end of the season.
Hmm. Specifically, I want to take us back to Oregon, where that's where I officially met you at the USA Track and Field U20 Championship Trials. You were coming off of a national title in the 200 at New Balance National Outdoors, and then at Trials you clocked a 10:06, which surpassed Jaylen Slade's former class record of 10:09, which now puts you at number 4 all time, as Cory mentioned to introduce you here. What has been your vision now in the 100 meters in the short sprints this season? I know when we were briefly talking, you're like, okay, maybe this national record potentially is now coming into play, but for where you are right now with training and just moving forward in the season, pretty soon we're about to see you hit the track. What can we expect from you, and what are you looking forward to doing in those short sprints?
Moving forward, I would. That was my school bell. But moving forward, usually people will put a time on what they want to reach to, but I don't really like to put a time on what I might go to because it's almost like putting like a limit. Because once I get to that, if I were to hit that marker really soon, I'm going to be lost after that. So my goal is really to just go out and execute every single race and take all my practice time doing and put it into the race every single time. And I know if I do that, then all the fast world breaking, record breaking times would come from that.
And how do you carry yourself nowadays? Because obviously you put yourself up at the highest level in high school track and field. So in some ways you have a target on your back. People will now want to beat you. How do you carry yourself? Do you have to kind of form any kind of mentality from this point forward to maybe keep you in that space where you're still shooting for those objectives?
Well, number one thing that I always keep, I know I have to remain humble no matter how good I get, and I also have to just keep that hunger and that work ethic I had to continue to work harder and get better every single day. And I know people are coming to try to be the best, and I'm at the top now, and I just know that I had to keep working harder and harder and never let up.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to ask, Olympic trials are this year. Obviously, the Olympics are in Paris. Is that a place, getting to the U.S. Olympic trials and maybe putting yourself on that stage, is that something you aspire to do this coming year?
That is definitely something that's on the agenda for this year.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
Buckle your seatbelts, everyone. Christian Miller is coming through.
Couldn't be happier for you, man. You're going to be announcing on MileSplit's Instagram
Yes.
account at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Stay tuned because what you see right there might not be what the final answer is. So, Christian, best of luck and congrats to you.
Thank you, guys.
All right, take care. So Christian Miller is an incredible athlete from Florida, and he's kind of put himself in the upper pantheon
Yeah.
as a junior. What do you think about that?
I just think it's just super exciting to just see where he was when we saw him at trials. Like, he just exceeded and really put himself out there, as you mentioned, but he came off a really strong late toward the sophomore season, really just did extraordinary things as a junior. So I'm super pumped for what is in store for Christian Miller.
I couldn't agree more. I think Christian is going to be someone we're going to be talking about a lot.
Yes.
To begin even February, because Florida starts track and field early. They even have an indoor season now.
Yes. They finished it last year, so
Yeah.
I was like, okay, they're actually going to be able to have somewhat of an indoor season, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. We're going to go next to our very next interview with a name we know really well.
Huge fans.
From Texas, Springlake Earth, Taytum Goodman, coming off her 4th straight title at the Cross Country Championships in 1A. This girl is a legend.
Yes.
Couldn't be happier to see her now. So let's welcome in Taytum Goodman.
Hey, Taytum, how's it going?
It's going good. How are y'all?
Good. I must say, I'm so jealous of Cory because he was able to see you at the Texas State Championships this past weekend. Ashley and I were in New York covering the New York City Marathon. And how does it feel? I have to ask you, how does it feel to defend that title for 4 straight years?
It feels awesome. Like, that's been a goal since I've been in like 6th grade. And now that I've actually accomplished it, it's just like amazing. It's like I still can't get over it, like it's just like a big goal that I've always wanted.
Mm-hmm.
You're a multiple-time state champion now in cross country, but if you had to pick between cross and track and field, is there any sort of like, I prefer this over the other one, or?
I would have to say track. I
Okay.
love track. Just that atmosphere is so much better, and everyone's up yelling and screaming, and it's just a faster pace, and I like it more.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta ask about the T-shirt. What are you wearing right there? Is that a college T-shirt?
What do we have going on?
It's an 806 track media for Jason Pearson, his picture taking thing, but no, it's not revealing anything.
I was like, can we zoom in on the camera a little bit? No, that's awesome. So I saw where you did your post-race interview with Cory at the state championships, and you were just talking about how Texas Tech and Texas A&M are just those 2 programs that have kind of separated themselves from the rest of the pack. So I have to know, what separates those 2 Lone Star programs from all the other schools that you were considering during this process?
So, I mean, every school I visited and that I talked to was great. Don't get me wrong, but A&M really stuck out for their facilities and their team and their coaches. I really loved it. It was an awesome visit. And then Tech is just, I grew up going around Tech, and just I know most of the team already because my brother runs there, and it's just a great atmosphere in Lubbock. So that's kind of just what got me to those 2.
That's got to be hard, though.
Yeah,
because
that's tough.
It's basically, you have a family side. Maybe that's the heart, wants to keep you in Lubbock, but then there's the aspirational side, getting out of Lubbock and maybe going somewhere new like College Station. So how did you have to like weigh those 2 things?
So the distance part was okay for me. I didn't have to stay close, but then I'm like, all my friends are like, hey, you need to stay close to us. I'm like, y'all, I will make new friends. But that's the kind of a big part of it now that it got closer to the date of me choosing, just because, Tech is close. If I need anything, I'm an hour away from home. I can call, and they can get here. A&M is about 7.5 hours, and that's okay. I mean, I have people down there that I know, but that was a big part of my decision. So
totally understand that. 7 hours away from home. Well, I am wearing my Aggie shirt, so hopefully I don't want to influence you, but I'm a proud Aggie over here. So just, I know distance kind of played a role into this as well, potentially, but what were some of the must-haves? Like, did the university have to have like certain things that you were looking forward to, and also within the program? Like, what were some of those things that you needed to have checked off for the Taytum Goodman checklist?
So going into it, I told myself, I was like, just go in and see what you like the most. Don't expect anything more, because I don't know how to explain it exactly. But so I went in and I wanted the indoor track, because I've always wanted to run on an indoor track, because I haven't in high school yet. And Tech and A&M both have that. A&M's actually getting a brand new one this year. Yes. I think they said it's going to be ready in December. And then Tech's is already pretty nice. I mean, I've seen that one a lot. So both of those checked off that. And then just the team fitting in as a team on my recruit visits, that was like a huge part of it. And at A&M, it was super fun. I got along with the team really good. At Tech, it was just the same way. So I was like, well, I can't go off of either way of those, because I both fit in. So it's been a really tough decision on that one.
You're a 4-H girl, right?
FFA.
FFA. Who's got the better sort of FH standard there, Tech or A&M?
So again, that's like, they're both kind of cool.
Right.
So I want to go into embryology, and both school, like Tech just got a brand new vet program. A&M's known for their vet. So I'm like, well, there again, I'm stuck in the middle again. So I don't know.
Well, do you know at this point, right? You're still not like on the line. You're just gonna like make the decision when it comes, or you know at this point, right?
So last night I knew at that point, and then today after talking to y'all, I'm like, man.
we're talking it through, you know. Okay, so when will you officially make your commitment to the world? When will that take place? At 3.
3 p.m.
Okay.
Okay, 3 p.m.
Stay tuned.
Central Time. Okay. Curious to hear. You've been a do-it-all athlete at Springlake for a long time. You play a lot of sports. You go to college now. Are you excited by the fact that it's like this is going to be my primary concern now? I kind of just have to focus on that.
Yeah, so I'm kind of ready for that because everyone's like, well, you could probably be so much better in college because you're only focusing on running. And so I want to see like how much better I can be out of high school and just see how far I can go.
Mm-hmm. And you're about to start basketball season soon, right? Potentially?
Yes.
Awesome.
My first game
is Saturday?
Yes.
Wow, you literally came off the course and literally onto the court now. And then you also play golf, for everyone that doesn't know, because I remember at States last year, you were, wasn't the golf state championships like right outside Austin or close by? You also had a golf tournament too.
30 minutes away from Austin, I think.
Wow. So just doing all the things. Taytum Goodman.
Okay. Got some three-pointers maybe some reverse layups coming in the future for you. But Taytum, congratulations on your decision, and thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us here. I'm sure we'll talk to you at some point over the next couple of months as you make your way through your final seasons.
Yes, for sure. Thanks for having me come on.
Yes.
Awesome. Right.
Good to see you, Taytum.
Take care. All right, so Taytum Goodman, she still has an outdoor season where she could finish off with, 800, 1,600, 1,300.
Oh, gosh,
she could go for the four-peat if she wants to, if she goes for the 400. So.
Yeah, the opportunities are endless, especially for Taytum Goodman, as we know, and just watching her evolve as an athlete over the last 4 years has just been remarkable. So it's going to be a great season.
And if we look at all-time small school athletes in Texas, there's been very few of them. Jake Merrill, for sure, was one of the all-timers.
Yeah.
Gary Smith did a story back in the day for Sports Illustrated where he covered a girl in Aransas, I believe, that was a multiple-time state champion. But, just speaking about Taytum, she's put herself up in that conversation with the best of all time.
Yes.
So let's move to commitments before today. We had loads of them coming up through our feeds, Instagram, Twitter, and all that. So, and some of them were, major. So who were some of the top commitments before today?
I feel like today I'm just going to be glued to my phone. I'm just going to be looking at all the universities because they're starting to post their signed and tagging all the athletes, which is great. But I think one of the biggest news going into today for National Signing Day is Mia Broad-Pedersen making her commitment to USC. We already know Mia. She's just been an extraordinary athlete, really stood out last year, setting all-time bests in the 200, clocking amazing 100 and 200 meter performances on the outdoor oval, finishing in the senior trials to go to Worlds this past summer, finishing seventh in the 100 and just doing great things there. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Mia does specifically going into this indoor and outdoor season as well. And I think USC is a great fit for her. And also coming off the dock as of late last night, Olivia Pace from Ohio is also going to be joining Mia. I think USC, I've been waiting for the sprinters to start making their announcements. I knew it was going to be late, but now I'm like at the edge of my seat just trying to be like, okay, where is everyone going now? Because the feed today is just going to be potentially a lot of sprinters and jumpers. Of course, we're seeing a lot of the distance athletes have already made their decision earlier.
Yeah.
So it's just like glued to the computer, glued to your phone. But USC picked up two wonderful, talented athletes.
Yeah, absolutely. And then on the other side, I think I'm looking at Layla Campbell of Spring Grove out of Pennsylvania. She picked LSU a while back.
Oh, yeah. That was like the summer, wasn't it?
Yeah. But you look at Layla Campbell, she reminds me a lot of Mia Broad-Pedersen, just the physicality of her as a sprinter. She can go to a program that is known to develop, women at a very high level. So I think that, she has a lot of potential still to tap into 11.24 in the 100, 23.24 in the 200, a lot of potential. We could even see her end the season on a maybe a historic level.
Yeah.
Because she is a 2-time MBNO champion. Jelani Watkins also going to LSU for football, but I hope and am praying that this man at least suits up a couple times.
Spike up?
Suits up
to football. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, suits up football, but also in track too.
Track too, yeah.
I mean, multiple-time Texas State champion, 10.33 in the 100, 25.4 in the 200. He's much to me like Devin A-Chain, Fort Bend Marshall guy. Went to A&M.
Yep.
Was able to do both, and now he's in the NFL.
Yep.
Jelani could follow that same path.
He could. He has that opportunity to.
Top 100 football recruit there, so hoping for that. Daniel Simmons of American Fork, I think, could be one of the best distance recruits we've ever seen, reminiscent of Casey Klinger at BYU. Daniel is also going to BYU. 13.59 indoors in the 5K, 8:41 in the 2 mile. This man can move, and he's good. And then the last one out of BYU is Tyler Matthews. A little underrated, I think, from Red Mountain High School in Arizona, but he's gone 148 in the 800, 412 in the 1600 meters. BYU guys, they come on campus, they do that mission right off the bat to the LDS church, and then they come back, and then we see them when they're like 21, 22. But BYU has a process to get those guys back online, and they always are there. So looking out for those two. Let's go to our top classes so far in our minds, right?
Yes.
The National Signing Day isn't over yet, but we got some top classes that we've keeping our eye on. And who are they?
Yes. For me, specifically on the women's side, outside, I feel like USC is now starting to, again, we're getting the news as it's coming. So up until late last night, I was like, Oregon looks super strong right now. On the ladies' side specifically, you have 3 very talented distance runner, Allie and Nicole and Samantha Humphreys, the twins. Allie is just a 6-time Illinois state champion from the 400 to the 800 to the 1600. Recently at Pan American U20, she was 4th in the 800 meters. She was 2nd at trials, and she's also the New Balance national indoor champion in that 800 meters with a 2:04, and then she was 6th on the outdoor oval with a 2:06 at New Balance as well. So here you have someone that's a middle distance, but can also go up. And she also has been performing on the cross-country course this fall as well. And then you also have the twins, Nicole and Samantha Humphreys, who are just finishing off their Texas State championships this past weekend. Samantha finished 4th. She was 11th at NXN last year. She has PRs of 2:07 in the 800, 4:41 in the mile, and 10:12 in the 3,200 meters. Nicole has been a little bit injured, kind of banged up this cross-country season, but without a doubt, I feel like her resume already speaks for itself. She was 13th at NXN last year and then was 21st at Champs. It's really hard to do that double, and the fact that she was able to execute really strong performances at both meets, I think really just speaks volumes on the heart and the talent that she has. And she also has PRs of 2:06 in the 800, 4:47 in the mile, and 10:11 in the 32. So I feel like Oregon right now is in a really great spot, especially coming from the distance side. They have a lot of talented individuals who know how to compete at that state level, but also on the national scale as well.
Yeah, and there were a few more there on the list. The Landon LeBron from Arizona, a mid-distance girl. On the guys' side, Anthony Fasthorse.
Yes, Anthony Fasthorse, yeah.
Braden Platt's the top javelin thrower coming back into the country this year. He's a dual recruit in football and track, but he is definitely going to throw at Oregon. So I think they've gotten a lot of really high caliber athletes on both sides.
Fantastic.
And then I think we have another one out of, is it the Notre Dame? Are they ACC? I think they're ACC, right?
Believe so.
Who do we got from Notre Dame that you're keeping an eye on?
Yes, Notre Dame. This was Ashley's pick. She is a huge fan of Notre Dame, and I have to agree with her. I feel kind of on the men and the women's side, this is a distance-heavy program. But Cory, just listen to the names I'm listing off: Jason Parra, Cameron Todd, Drew Griffith, Ryan Pajak, Colin Whitaker, Luke Himes, Jack Henzik. Like, that is a strong men's program right there. Drew Griffith is the top performer so far this year on the cross-country course with a 4:21 for 5K. You have Ryan Pajak, who's listed in the top 10 with a 14:40. Colin Whitaker, top 13. Jason Parra, again, in the top 10 for 3 miles. So you have a lot of top athletes in the distance events who have already committed to Notre Dame. And then even looking at the ladies' side, you have Isabel Alori, Nikki Sutherland, Addison Knobloch, Mary Bonner Dalton, and Amaya Armani. And those are also ladies who I feel like could really make a huge impact on this program. I'm just going to drop this little bug here because when we were in New York City, all of a sudden Ashley's like freaking out on her phone. And I'm like, what's happening? What's happening? And she's like, Mary Bonner Dalton just made history in North Carolina. No one has broken 17 minutes on the Redmond course, and she happened to just obliterate not only the course record, but the meet record, which was previously held by Carmen Alder, who's now at BYU. She clocked a 17:11 at the state championships. And Mary Bonner Dalton dropped a 16:54 and was one of the first ladies to break 17 minutes, as I mentioned, on a very challenging course. So that already speaks volumes on not only where Mary Bonner Dalton is right now in the season, but the kind of program that Notre Dame is starting to put together for this class.
For sure. And I think I want to comment a little bit on Drew Griffiths and Ryan Pajak. When we last did our MileSplit 50 rankings in June, Griffith wasn't on the map.
Yeah.
As far as like track times are concerned, when we looked at that, and his cross country season has sort of immediately put him up into that space as a top 50 recruit. So we're going to redo those, this week, and Drew Griffith is going to find himself on the top 50 recruits. But it's interesting to look. If you go solely on outdoor times, that doesn't give you a full picture of an athlete, especially for people like Griffith and Bonner Dalton and Pajak. They are three sporters in that they run cross, they run indoor, they run outdoor. So there's a lot of versatility to those types of athletes, and they're going to make a big difference on Notre Dame's team. So the third class I want to highlight here is North Carolina. North Carolina, under Chris Miltenberg, has had a great run of success over the last basically 3 seasons since he was hired. He came in essentially after that sort of COVID year, and he kind of had to rebuild North Carolina into his vision. And right now in cross, both of those teams, women's, men's teams, are in the picture as far as like top 10 performers concerned.
Yeah.
And a lot of that is having to do with recruiting and how he's recruited his types of athletes, bringing them to campus. And looking at this class, Ethan Hogan out of Columbia is a top 50 recruit on our rankings from this past June. He's a high picture one. Henry Strand, the brother of Ethan Strand, who's one of the top performers on the Tar Heels cross country team right now. He's a high performer in the middle distances. Donovan Calhoun, sprinter from Wesleyan Christian. I saw him at Adidas Outdoor Nationals. I think he ran low 21s, and he's a guy with a little bit more, I think, expertise, can kind of whittle that time down, and he could be a high performer on the sprint side of things. Luke Liming, Knox Young, really good boys recruits. And then on the girls' side, Logan St. John Kletter, Dalton Reese, Maddie Gardner. I mean, I think they really are stacking up building blocks.
Yeah.
Adding pieces to the teams. And not everyone is going to be a star, but you form enough of them on the team, it allows, the depth to be stronger and better. And a couple of those guys will come out of the wings and really be good at the college level. So he's playing an important part in building that team up. So those are the 3 teams we're looking at for it, especially at this point right now. Oregon, Notre Dame, North Carolina, but we'll see how things shake up today. Top athletes who are still unsigned, and they won't sign today. Any that you're looking at right now?
Oh, man. I feel like there's a whole list of individuals that I'm just waiting. And I think a lot of people are waiting for this name in particular, Adasia Hodge from Mount Verde Academy in Florida, the talented rising star. Just did extraordinary things during the indoor season, also competed at the World Championships in the summer as well. Her teammate also, Michelle Smith, is someone that I'm also looking out on my radar. And from what my understanding is, they're both going to be making their commitments around Thanksgiving time. So we won't necessarily hear where they're going to go until a couple of weeks from now. Another athlete that I feel like has struck up a lot of conversation is Ellie Shea from Emerging Elite out in Massachusetts. And after just speaking with her group and her coaches there. I think she's going to be waiting a little bit longer until later this school year to make that decision. So I feel like wherever she decides to go, she's going to make a huge impact on that program. Another athlete.
Do we think that she still is dead set on college?
I really don't know. That was one of the questions I had going into this year, if Ellie Shea was going to make that commitment going to university, or if she was just going to just
decide to go pro.
I feel like she will continue going to college, going that route.
Make that decision?
Yeah,
Okay.
make that. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm kind of 50-50 on it. I think she's been coached in a way that is more...
It's working for her too.
Well, it's more along the path of professional than it is team. But she did go to World U20 Cross and got that experience with those, 6 teammates.
Yeah.
She doesn't run with a team, so she doesn't get that often. So I don't know if she's like, I love this.
Yeah.
And that's going to make her decision a little easier.
Yeah.
But if I'm looking at it just from beyond the lines here, I would think it's a 50-50 sort of decision for her.
Yes.
Based on her talent level, too.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 other athletes I want to mention. Makaria Harris from Louisiana. She is making her commitment on Friday, November 10th. I'm really excited for that huge announcement coming out. And then the other individual that I have on my radar is Zy Ricks. The last time I checked, he has not made the official commitment. He does have postings of Texas, Arizona State, Mississippi State, LSU, and Georgia on his profile, but no commitment quite yet as of us filming this morning.
I do have an update on that. Zy is committing yesterday. He committed yesterday at 8 p.m.
He did?
He's announcing today.
Okay.
Tim Casey will have that story for us today at some point.
Okay, perfect.
For
all right.
Zy Ricks.
I'll be keeping my eyes out for that one.
MileSplit's all over the place
Yes.
on Wednesday, National Signing Day. But yeah, for sure. Brianna Selby, number 36 on the MileSplit 50 on the girls' side. Phenomenal sprint talent in Virginia, won a national indoor title last year. Committing on Friday, spoke to her yesterday. That's going to come down the line. Sophia Curtis from Ocean City, number 40 on the girls' MileSplit 50, one of the nation's best jumpers, still uncommitted. Adam Burleson, number 25 on the boys' list from Lubbock, 403 mile, 854, 3,200 meters, one of the best distance runners returning in the outdoor season this year. Did not run cross.
Yes.
He did run a college race unattached, but he did not run cross. Hopefully we see him at the regional level for Nike or Foot Locker, and we might see him at a national meet, but we haven't seen him yet. And the last one, definitely have to keep our eyes out on Abdul Sai Savan of ATL Zoom. This man is going, I think, is going to be a star in college. His father was an Olympian. He's a hurdler, 13.52 in the 110s, 21.20 in the 200. He's got the profile of a really, really good hurdler. Came into track late from Atlanta, Georgia. I think he's going to be awesome, still uncommitted at this point for him to do. So those are all athletes that we are keeping our eyes out on over the next couple of days and weeks. Before we get to our last 2 interviews, we're going to go with a really, really fun segment here.
I'm pumped.
So,
why don't you tell the people what we're doing?
We've been doing recruiting rankings
Yes.
for the last 6 years. Since 2018, we've been ranking the top athletes in each track class. And so we're going to go through some of our number 1 recruits and see if we got them right.
Spot on?
Spot on or spot off?
I must preface this. I was not working with MileSplit before 2020, so.
Oh, so you're like, I don't take credit for anything that's like previous to 2020?
I'm just throwing that
I
out
gotcha.
there.
Okay. Wow. See how you are. Okay. Let's go to 2023 first on the girls' side.
Yeah.
They haven't run college yet, so we're just gonna say number 1 recruits. We're sticking with them right now.
We're sticking with them. Yes.
Shanti Jackson on the girls' side.
Yes.
Went to Arkansas. Had an all-time year.
Oh gosh, all
Outdoors.
time. I feel like it doesn't get better than that.
No, nothing gets better than that. She still will and can be a star at that level, so we're gonna watch out for that.
Yeah.
Boys' side, Makai Larry of Montford.
Yes.
Now, we did this in June. Asama Singa pretty much broke through after we named Makai the top runner. So Assam, I think, kind of surpassed him at the end of the year, but Makai has yet to perform in college, so he can be that guy.
Yes, and I feel like after the season that Micah had too, with just all the jumps, contributing to the team's success at their state championships. He just elevated himself. I know he was battling with an injury during the indoor season, but other than that, I feel like Michael Larry has just done great things. Now, 2022, this one I'm pumped for. We had number 1, Roisin Willis of Stephen Points High School in Wisconsin. Now is at Stanford. However, number 7, we have Addie Wiley of Huntington North from Indiana. I feel like we're still spot on with it.
No.
No?
I think Addie Wiley has
Surpassed Roisin?
I mean, yeah, she ran, 156? I mean, at the world level, I think, at this point, I think she's passed Roisin. Roisin hasn't gotten a lot of opportunities, I think, at that high women's level to say that she's not that person. Yeah, Addie Wiley ran 157 in Switzerland in September. So she's the best out of that class right now for mid-distance. Roisin's still really good.
Yes.
So is Juliet and a lot of others. But I think Addie kind of surpassed her.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. On the boys' side, number 1 recruit was Justin Braun from Thomas Worthington, Ohio. Went to USC. Really good athlete. Number 2, Will Sumner.
Yeah.
He was an honorable mention pick when we actually finished our rankings. We didn't do another one after he went bananas that year. Will Sumner now runs for Adidas. He won an NCAA title. He
won 2,
indoor
great. And outdoor.
He's great.
As a freshman.
Yep.
And went pro after freshman year.
Turned pro.
Wow.
So, did we get it right? Did we get it wrong? Justin still hasn't had the opportunity yet.
Yes, he's been injured. That's just the only problem. Will has definitely. Risen. If we're looking at what they have done right now, currently, I put Will Sumner.
Yeah.
Got it. You can't beat what he did as a freshman. Yeah. So that's how I feel.
2021.
2021. Girls side. Michaela Rose at number 1 from homeschool in Virginia. And then number 2, we had Bryn Brown from Denton Guyer, now at UNC. I feel like we're spot on.
We are spot on. We were spot on with Michaela Rose.
Spot on. And she is I'm just so proud of her. I feel like everyone just adores her. I had a chance to see her at Texas A&M when she was running with the LSU uniform on for cross country, and her resume speaks for itself. She was second at SECs her sophomore season. She won indoor SECs and 3rd at NCAAs, just racking up titles. Clocked the number 2 all-time performance.
She won an outdoor NCAA title, the 800.
Yeah, she did. Year. Yeah, she did. With and she also clocked a 159.73. But last year she went 159.08 in the spring, number 2 all-time behind a Thing Mo.
Yeah, Michaela is on track to be a great 800-meter runner.
Yes.
So I think Michaela there. On the boys' side, number 1 recruit, Nathan Green. Okay.
Yes.
Nathan Green's had a good career at Washington so far. He's among a group of guys who have succeeded. But then number 13 on our list, Udodia Onwusurike of Stanford, who just turned pro this week. I don't know. That's hard for me.
That is so. I'm literally
that's hard for me.
Sitting here and I'm stressed because it's like it's because again they do 2 different disciplines, but yet they both have done amazing. They've done amazing things.
Yeah, Nathan Green as a freshman, I think, got to NCAAs. He's routinely run among the best in the country at 1,500 meters. He was 3rd at Pac-12s this past week, I think, or 2 weeks ago in the cross-country championships. 3:37, I think, for 1,500 meters. Yeah, 1:46 for 800. This guy's done it all. He is still among the best recruits in that class, but I would have to give it to Udodia because he ran 19.7 in the 200.
Yeah.
He ran 9.98, I think, or something for 100.
Yeah.
I kind of have to give it to Udodia there. He's kind of bumped up. But
all right.
Those two guys.
All right, 2020. Y'all ready for this one?
Go for it.
All right, number 1, a Thing Mo from Trenton Central from New Jersey. And then number 2, Caitlin Toohey of North Rockland in New York.
Yeah, that's a good one, too.
Woo!
That's a good one, too.
Are we good? Are we good here, or what are your thoughts?
We're absolutely good there. That is the correct one, too.
Perfect. Okay, just want to double check.
Yeah.
And then also to just put this out there, number 30, we had Talitha Diggs and honorable mention Parker Valby.
Yeah, Parker is really skyrocketed.
Skyrocketed.
Up the charts since
Yes.
her collegiate days in Florida. On the men's side, Justin Robinson was our number 1 recruit in 2020. He had broken 45 numerous times in high school throughout that COVID year, too, which is impressive.
Yes.
And then I got to give you a nice little secondary one here is Devin A-Chain. He was our 12th recruit for Ben Hightower. Did run at A&M, ran well.
Yeah.
Went to NCAAs, I think, on relays, right?
Yeah.
And now he's with the Miami Dolphins. So can you say the man didn't have a great road to success?
He did. However, I still agree with our pick with Justin Robinson.
Oh, yeah. Two gold medals,
yes.
Mixed relay, and the 4x4.
I said this for with Flow Track. Justin Robinson was literally the rock at Worlds for both the mixed relay and the 4x4. Just incredible work from him.
Yeah.
So I agree with our pick.
And it's been a hard road to kind of go from that height in high school to go through COVID to go into Arizona State. He kind of had to go down a trough a little bit to come back up, and now made a U.S. teams for the first time, won gold medals. Yeah, for sure. He's done it all.
All right, cool. All right, 2019 for my time. Area minor, number 1 on the ladies' side, and then number 2, Anna Hall.
2 Coloradians.
Yes. On number 5 was Tia Jones, and number 8, Britton Wilson. How do we feel about this?
Great class, I'll say that.
Fantastic class.
Minor was amazing at 1, 2, and 4. Anna Hall was a great heptathlete, but I don't think we saw her on the road to breaking 6,000 at that point.
Yeah.
So she's, I think, elevated at this point.
All right. And then on the boys' side, Brian Herron from Georgia. Ran for Texas. Number 23, the one and the only, Matthew Bowling.
This was another one where we released the list at National Signing Day, and then that preceding outdoor season, Matthew becomes
Matthew Bowling.
Yeah, which is, I think he has elevated there to number 1. Brian Herron, I am not out on Brian Herron yet. He's still with Texas. He's with Edric. He started at USC. Made his way to Austin. I do believe that Edric makes his athletes into the athletes that they are going to become. So I'm not out on him yet.
Okay.
Number 9, Drew Bosley also was on in that mix for that class, and Joseph Von Boulay, number 21 out of Minnesota. First class that we did recruiting rankings, and the last one we'll talk about here is 2018, and I think this one's amazing. This one is pretty amazing. Especially if we look at the girls' class. I mean, that's just our number 1 recruit, Caitlin Collier of Bowles.
Yep.
And then number 2 might be the most famous track athlete in the world right now, Sha'Carri Richardson. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't. I think you know my thoughts. Oh gosh. Wait, when did this come out? Did this come out before States? Or when did these?
Caitlin out of high school still, at the very end of it, would have been the top recruit in the country.
Interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
What Sha'Carri's doing right now is just.
She's almost FloJo levels at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, in this class of 2018, you had Abby Steiner at 14 and Masai Russell at 37.
Yeah. This is actually almost like this is the beginning of influencing. It began really, I think, in 18, and they kind of grew up in it. Masai Russell has become a track influencer in some ways. Sha'Carri the same. So this is kind of where that kind of began, I think.
Yeah.
On the men's side, number 1 recruit, Brody Hasty of Brentwood. And then number 2, the guy, world record holder, Mondo Duplantis. And the big thing here, we were like, do we want to give a specialist the number 1 nod? Obviously, he was the best of all time in high school, but we couldn't have imagined he would be the best of all time
the world multiple times.
Yeah, so that was that. But I actually looking at this list, I think
this is ridiculous.
I think this is the top class over the last 6 years. Anthony Schwartz was 4; he's in the NFL right now. Kalen Barnes, number 7, he's in the NFL right now. Elijah Godwin of Georgia, I think he just turned pro.
Went pro, yeah.
Kylan Garland, I think he's also pro or he's
Potentially.
either at Georgia or it might go soon. Kenny Bednarik, pro. Nike. Casey Lightfoot, pole vaulter, pro. Dylan Jacobs just turned pro with On. So, man, this list is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
Fantastic.
And to be say, Brody Hasty won national titles with NAU. He was part of that group of men that currently is still dominating cross country. So he is a very good athlete, and he kind of lived up to the billing there. Honestly, I think he could also probably turn pro and run. So good stuff there. Next up, what we got next?
Next up, we have our third interview of the day. Of course, it's National Signing Day. You thought Cory and I were just going to be talking the whole time. No, we have guests joining us. We have IMG Academy's Tyler Lowe calling in from Florida. Tyler is a recent transfer, as I mentioned, to IMG. She has personal best of 11:79 in the 100, 23:56 in the 200, and 53:39 in the 400 meters. Her final picks have been Texas A&M, Kentucky, Colorado, Michigan, Auburn, and Wisconsin. So without further ado, Tyler, welcome to the show, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Hi, so glad to be here.
Awesome. Well, we're happy to have you here. It's National Signing Day. How are you feeling about today as a whole?
I'm feeling good. I'm glad to finally have gotten, because it's been a long time coming for this moment, and I'm excited.
I mean, we gotta ask. Is that your pick?
Is that the pick?
Did you make the pick?
Yes, I did make the pick.
Giggle!
Yeah,
that makes me happy.
You know this girl's gonna go wild about
I'm gonna go
A&M.
crazy. Gig 'em Ags. I'm super pumped. Well, congratulations, Tyler. What separated A&M? Because you have a very condensed list of really fantastic schools. What separated A&M from the rest of your top picks? Oh, did we lose Tyler?
We might have lost Tyler for a moment. Tyler, we got you back. Can you talk to us a little bit about your decision on picking A&M?
Yes, so all the college I visited were great opportunities, and it wasn't an easy decision, but it came down to a few things that A&M that just stood out to me. For example, the proximity to the NASA base, because I want to be an aerospace engineer. That was, it was pretty interesting. And then their engineering buildings were amazing. Their track facilities were amazing. I liked the coaches. I got along with the team. One of my former club teammates even goes to Texas A&M. So at the end of the day, that's why
I love that.
Came down to it.
That's so awesome. And I must say, A&M is definitely known for their engineering. Like, that's incredible that you were able to kind of match what you wanted to do with the school that you wanted. And I know this has just been a season of change for you. How excited are you to be competing at IMG and then eventually going to Texas to compete for A&M?
Very excited. I think this is going to be a good transitional period for me, because IMG is kind of set up like a college already. Kind of transitions you from high school to college because of how it's set up. And I think that'll be good. A good place to compete, good coaches and everything.
Tyler, how ready are you for your final season, indoor and outdoor, to really make your mark? Because, we talked last year, and it was not a great end to your season. I feel like you're motivated by a lot of things that happened, and you're going to get that opportunity this year. So how motivated are you to kind of finish off things?
Very motivated. I think there's going to be a strong finish for me this year, and I'm excited to see how it goes.
Sure.
What goals do you have specifically?
Specifically, my main race is the 400, and I want to try to bring my time down into the 50, 51 area.
Ooh.
Drop a couple seconds.
Love that.
I know you're working with Dwight Thomas, who is the coach at IMG there. He's worked with Jalen Slade before. Are you kind of excited to see, what he could bring to you as far as, training is concerned?
Yes, I am. And so far, I think it's going well.
That was my next question. How's training going? How's that been?
When you went on your...
It's definitely a step.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
it's a step up from my previous training, I think, at my previous school and everything, and I think it's going well.
When it came to making visits at these schools, obviously you picked A&M, but was there anything really interesting that you really remembered about the visiting process? Like what was, kind of new and different to you?
I think, as you know, they made it unlimited for visits this year.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, oh yeah, just go on 10 visits, 15 visits. But it was very tiring. I felt going like I had to go and do schoolwork and stuff on the visits, and it was pretty stressful. So I think that was different. A lot of traveling every weekend, but IMG has made it pretty easy to do that.
Love that. Well, Tyler, we're super excited for your season. I'm very excited that you'll be going to Texas A&M from an Aggie to a future Aggie. We're wishing you all the best, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Yep. Alrighty, Tyler Lowe of IMG Academy. Really expecting some big things from her over the indoor and outdoor season. We'll see what she can do. Our last interview of the day is going to be Katy Tompkins' Jayden Keys of Texas. He is narrowing down his college choices, and I think he has already picked his final school today. Is that correct, Jayden?
Yes, sir. I definitely have.
Well, I mean, let's start with that first then.
Yes, let's start there.
Let's break it down. Let's give you the floor. This is your floor, Jayden. Talk to us.
All right. So I've gone to many different schools and seen a lot of different campuses. Been almost around the whole U.S. Just being able to see different campuses and see what I like, what I don't like. I narrowed it down to 5 different schools. My first visit was to the University of Iowa. I really liked the campus over there. It was a nice place to be at. And, the coaches are great over there as well. My second visit was Texas Tech, and I think they have one of the best facilities in they might have one of the best indoors in the whole NCAA. The coaches are real great over there as well. I really like the coaches. They were my first call me. My next one was Georgia. I went there and I fell in love with the program, and it was a blessing to be there and see what type of program I really like the respect that they have. And, I think I really fell in love with them. My fourth visit was to the University of Arizona State, and it was a real beautiful campus and place. Like, you could get many different feels to it. You got the college town feel. You have a mountain range kind of in the background, and you also have just a straight inner city kind of feel to it as well. So you get all 3 different types of feels to it. And my last visit was to Ohio State, and their coaches was just great, and it was just a blessing that I was able to go over there. But after a lot of prayers and talking to different people, I have a brother and sister that are kind of in my corner that went through this process already. So I'm going to the University of Georgia.
Yay! Got a bulldog. That's awesome.
I got the wristbands on.
Got
and
the
everything.
wristband?
There you go.
I was like looking for the shirt. I'm like, oh, he's wearing his high school shirt today. I was like trying to see if I can get a little sneak peek. Jayden, congratulations. I know you kind of just like broke down like the thought process behind it all. When you went and visited Georgia, what were some of those first emotions that you felt when you got on campus, especially since Coach Carroll has now moved in, is at the University of Georgia? I feel like we've been seeing a lot of sprinters kind of head in that direction, which I think is great. So what was that feel like when you got to the campus?
When I first got to the campus, it was definitely not something I was expecting. I knew everything was very nice and all their facilities were going to be great, but when I walked in, say, to the locker room, it was, man, this is huge. This is amazing. There was just a lot of. It seemed like there was a lot of different details that were put into there because Coach Carroll wanted it to.
Yep.
And I think she's a coach, and I think I really just fell in love with the coach and the team aspect, the atmosphere of.
Jayden, I want to ask for your announcement. I know you put a graphic on social media, but like, did you reveal it to anybody in a special way, or did you just was it kind of low key for you? Like, how did you announce it personally?
Well, obviously, I told my family first. You know, that was definitely the people who really helped me out and made me get the mindset to the right school that I need. So I told my innocent family first, and then I went to my grandparents and my aunts and uncles, and I told all of them at a little party that we were at. So basically, my whole family knew before I sent it out today. So I wanted everyone to know. I wanted everyone in my family to know, and because they're the ones that helped me the most. That you know, they're the ones that helped me the most, and that was it.
How has training been for you? Are you excited for this season before you go to Georgia?
Yes, definitely. I've been training really hard. It's been a process, definitely. You know, you go through 3 years, and now you have all 3 years, and you're just trying to combine all of those years into one great year. And I'm trying to do the best that I can.
One question I have for you, Jayden, I know Cory and I were talking about just how grueling this recruiting process is. Can you walk us through, like, what were some of the things that you were looking for in a university and how much it's, like, made an impact, especially at the beginning of your senior year?
Well, I would say the things that I looked for was, you know, a great education. Education always has to come first. You know, that's what my parents have always told me, because once track is done, it's done. You have a degree to fall back on. So definitely education first. I had definitely looked for coaches, definitely coaches that wanted me, and coaches that I thought that I would train well under. And it was a big, long process, but I finally got through the schools, and you know, I made my decision.
Jayden, what of H-Town are you going to bring to Athens? What part of H-Town are you going to bring to Athens? You know, you got to bring a piece of Houston to the place you're going to be, right? So, what do you think?
Yes. Man, I think I'm bringing the whole package. Definitely the trials and tribulations that I've gone through here is going to be definitely a stepping stone when I get to Georgia, and I'm just going to use those types of lessons that I have learned here over there and try to be the best that I can be.
Many congrats, man, on the decision to go to Georgia. You've deserved it. We're going to be looking out for you this coming outdoor season.
Yes.
And I think you're probably going to be going for state titles, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah?
That's the goal. That's definitely the goal.
I love it. I'm all for it.
Best of luck, man, and thank you so much for being a part of this, okay?
Thanks, Jayden.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Good stuff there from Jayden Keys. Olivia, this has been a fun national signing day.
It's just the beginning. That's the thing.
For sure.
This is just a small glimpse of our day.
I don't think we're finished yet, though, because before we leave, we have to talk a little bit about, like, you know, throwing the time capsule back. This young lady here is from Maryland, and she once went to A&M.
Yes.
I think we might have
Oh, gosh. What did you do?
photo or two of Liv's National Signing Day.
Yes.
There
oh, my
she
gosh. Good old times. I remember that day like it was yesterday. It was amazing.
School announcement, family announcement?
School announcement, family, and my summer track team at the bottom there. So I made my verbal commitment 3 days after I visited A&M's campus. I fell in love with it, and I was like, this feels like home. It reminded me of my summer track team. That was the thing I was looking for, and I found it on the first shot. So there we go. And then, made my verbal commitment, signed on National Signing Day, and then the school did something for us too. So got 2 little parties.
Fun times.
Yes, fun times.
Well, if you enjoyed this show of National Signing Day, we're going to have a lot more coverage on MileSplit.com today and through the week. And as signings happen, we'll get them for you. Thank you so much for being a part of it, and we will see you soon.